This is Sundry News for Wednesday, July 15th, and we begin with the Daily Wire. Watch. Activist rips open door of citizen's car. Citizen leaps out and flattens him. Good. Watch. Nick Cannon. White people are a little less closer to animals. True savages. Yeah. That's super racist. And apparently he lost his job at NBC not because he was racist against white people, but apparently he said something anti-Semitic also, so that's why he got fired there. However, he still has at least one other of his jobs. Ghislaine Maxwell allegedly has video of U.S. politicians having sex with underage girls, former friend says. I guess we'll see about that if she stays alive. Viacom CBS terminates Nick Cannon over anti-Semitic remarks, does not mention anti-white remarks. Native American son of Redskins logo designer says it's not offensive. I read this yesterday, not on here, but I read it yesterday evening. And yeah, apparently the Washington Redskins used to just have an R as their logo. But then, way back when, I believe it was the early 70s, I think it said, this dude's father was instrumental in them changing to this logo from a, pretty benign R to this logo, which is apparently offensive to people, but then it wasn't. It was designed by this by this Native American guy who actually, pushed the Redskins to use it, and it is the likeness of an actual Native American chief. And in all fairness to the son, he understands that the nickname Redskins might be offensive, but the logo itself he thinks they should keep. Not sure how they'll be able to do that if they choose something like, say, the Red Tails, but if they do manage to get the Warriors, then I suppose they could keep it then. Not that they're going to, because it doesn't matter what this one person says, even though he really should be the only person that gets listened to, given his background as the son of the designer. No, they'll probably trash everything. Most likely, due to all the loud tantrums happening from a very small section of the population. Oh well. Hey, if we go with my idea of Washington squaws, then, yeah, Washington squaws. That's a great idea. How amazing would it be for the Washington football team to be, Washington, D.C., that is, to be the very first NFL team to pay homage to women with their name? Because women are amazing and powerful. Women should be revered in our culture, even in sports, in football. Women are amazing. So they should definitely do that. CBD is amazing and now legal, helping people everywhere from health-beast.com. And there's a bunch of other ads. And that's it for the Daily Wire. Next up, the Daily Yahoo. Naya Rivera's cause of death revealed as her family issues statement. Heaven gained our sassy angel. Investigators believe the Glee actress saved her 4-year-old son's life over her own when the boat she rented in California's Lake Peru started to drift. Okay. Let's look at that. I was wondering how the kid got back in the boat. Naya Rivera's cause of death has been confirmed as drowning 1 day after her body was discovered. The Ventura County Medical Examiner's Office said on Tuesday there is no indication drugs or alcohol played a role in the tragic accident. The circumstances and visual characteristics all indicated that the body was that of Naya Rivera, and the identity has been confirmed by dental comparison. The report, obtained by Yahoo Entertainment, reads, "The body has been x-rayed, and a full autopsy has been performed. The autopsy findings are consistent with a drowning, and the condition of the body is consistent with the time that she was submerged. No traumatic injuries or disease processes were identified at autopsy." The office concluded, "There is no indication from the investigation or examination that drugs or alcohol played a role in the decedent's death, but specimens will be submitted for toxicology testing." Rivera's family issued a statement to Deadline on Tuesday afternoon saying, "Heaven gained our sassy angel." They asked for privacy during this difficult time. "We are so grateful for the outpouring of love and prayers for Naya, Josie, and our family over the past week." Who's Josie? "While we grieve the loss of our beautiful legend, we are blessed to honor her everlasting legacy and magnetic spirit. Naya was an amazing talent, but was an even greater person, mother, daughter, and sister," they said via Rivera's manager, Gladys Gonzalez. The family thanked everyone who was involved with the search and recovery mission. "Thank you, okay, blah, blah, blah." It was a pontoon boat for her and her 4-year-old son, Josie, okay, but never returned from a swimming excursion with her boy. According to investigators, it's believed she saved her son's life over her own when the boat started to drift, as there are currents in the lake in the afternoons. "We believe it was mid-afternoon when she disappeared, the idea perhaps being that the boat started drifting, it was unanchored, and that she mustered enough energy to get her son back onto the boat, but not enough to save herself." Okay. Rivera's son told investigators that he and his mom had been swimming and that she boosted him onto the deck of the boat from behind. He told investigators that he looked back and saw her disappear under the surface of the water, Ayub noted. Aw, poor kid. While friends and family are mourning Rivera's death, many are not surprised. Her last act was a selfless one. She often talked about her special bond with her son. Okay. Sad. Harvey Weinstein $19 million settlement quickly crashes and burns as judge refuses to approve. Updated. With statements from New York Attorney General and lawyers, amid a growing chorus of objections and opposition, a federal judge this morning killed the proposed $19 million settlement for victims of Harvey Weinstein. "Based on my studies of the papers, based on my study..." Okay, for what reason? What? "Based on my study of the objection papers, and based on the flaws that I have already noted, I will not give preliminary approval to the settlement." With repeated questioning, the U.S. District Court judge pulled apart the terms of the June 30th unveiled multi-million-dollar deal in the short telephone conference this morning after listening to plaintiff's chief lawyer, Elizabeth Fagan, lay out the case for the settlement. "The idea that Harvey Weinstein can get a defense fund ahead of the claimants is obnoxious," said Hallerstein, who oversaw the 9/11 settlement case years ago. "The idea you can regulate the claims of people not in the settlement, I can't subscribe to that," he added, sweeping aside the legal house of cards in front of him. Okay. The refusal to give preliminary approval puts the kibosh on an insurance-fueled deal that Weinstein himself, his brother Bob Weinstein, the former board members of the Weinstein Company, and other corporate entities had signed off on, along with many women who had allegations against the once powerful and currently imprisoned producer. As part of a larger $47 million deal, the victim's settlement also was approved by New York Attorney General Letitia James, despite a call from many other victims for the Empire State's top law enforcement official to reject the agreement. So, a bunch of women aren't getting their settlement money because a bunch more women also want money? I don't want to read this whole thing. Obviously, I'll put the link in the description, so if anybody does watch this and they want to read that whole thing, you go right ahead. Iran executives, defense ministry staffer as alleged CIA spy. Iran has executed a former employee of the defense ministry who was convicted of spying on behalf of the Central Intelligence Agency, the country's judiciary said Tuesday. The report said Reza Asghari was executed last week. Judiciary spokesman Gholam Hossein Esmaili said Asghari had worked in something for a while now. Okay. Why is that picture with that? What is the context of that picture? Is that the person who was executed? That's unfortunate for them. Finland should not apply Hong Kong extradition treaty after security law, foreign minister says. The situation has changed from the time when the treaty was signed, Haavisto told a news conference. China's imposition of a new security law has seen countries such as Britain and Canada caution citizens of an increased risk of arbitrary detention in Hong Kong. Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz reportedly planned 2 weddings costing $5 million. Lucky their parents are rich. While the rest of the planet wonders anxiously what the future holds, life for the super rich goes on in its typical lavish style. In the latest stunning example of the triumph of inequality in the time of coronavirus, geez, bitter much? 2 20-somethings who have not exactly reached the something. I don't want to read your bitter rant. Trump touts silent majority as he insists polls showing him losing to Joe Biden are fake. Despite poll numbers that show him trailing Democrat Joe Biden by wide margins, President Trump said at the White House on Tuesday that he's doing better than anyone realizes in his quest for re-election. Well, he's not necessarily wrong. For one thing, in this charged political climate, is it hard to understand that some people probably feel like they shouldn't admit to anybody that they are behind Trump? They don't want to get beat up. They don't want to get killed. That doesn't mean that they're not going to vote for him. Also, polling places, for some reason, have trouble reaching, like, an entire demographic. And it just happens to be a demographic that is, like, usually on Trump's side. So, there you go. Stay up to date on coronavirus. Get the latest developments and official updates on the global health panic from trusted sources. Trusted by Yahoo? I don't trust who Yahoo trusts. What's hot? Sanitary wipes on Yahoo Search. Liability insurance on Yahoo Search. Trending now, Christina Applegate, Michael Douglas. Coronavirus still at number 3. That's not fixed at all. You just can't forget about it. They can't let you forget about it. Daisy Edgar Jones, dating websites. Nissan Murano sale. Bella Thorne, Crystal Bowersox, dental implant prices, Elizabeth Chambers. I don't know who all these women are. Going on to last but not least. 1440. Good morning! It's Wednesday, July 15th, and we're learning about a surprising new way to keep donated lungs viable for transplant. That sounds cool. Need to know. Sessions' last stand. Former Attorney General Jeff Sessions lost a bid to regain his Senate seat yesterday, falling to former Auburn University head football coach Tommy Tuberville in Alabama's Republican primary. Cool. The lopsided 22-point loss marks the end of a disappointing chapter for the 73-year-old politician. One of President Trump's earliest and highest-profile supporters, Sessions left a secure Senate seat, one he held for 4 terms in 2017, to become Attorney General, but quickly fell out of the president's graces when he recused himself from the investigation into Russian election meddling. Having resigned in 2018, Sessions continued to be criticized by Trump for the move, and the president actively campaigned against him during the primary. Tuberville moves on to face incumbent Doug Jones, widely considered to be the most vulnerable Senate Democrat. See a breakdown of the seats up for grabs here. Brits ban Huawei. The United Kingdom will prohibit telecom providers from using equipment made by Chinese technology giant Huawei, giving companies until 2027, that's a long time, to pull existing devices from their networks. Why so much time? The decision was driven by U.S. pressure to address concerns that the equipment could act as a backdoor for Chinese spying. Most likely it does. China is very sneaky. Companies began deploying 5G, the fifth generation of wireless technology, worldwide in 2019. Along with faster speeds, the technology's responsiveness is viewed as critical to a future Internet of Things. Okay. Internet of Things. However, it requires a wide range of new advanced technologies to transmit and process the signals, an area where Huawei is the global leader. Well, this will fuel progress for other companies. They will achieve greatness because they have to. However, it requires a wide range of new advanced technologies to transmit and process the signals, an area where Huawei is the global leader. Yes, the decision is estimated to delay the UK's 5G rollout by at least 2 years and cost an additional $2.5 billion, while ratcheting tensions between China and the West. There's a lot more to 5G and what it may enable. Check out a deep dive here. Maxwell denied bail. Ghislaine, or possibly Ghislaine, Maxwell, arrested earlier this month for allegedly helping deceased sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein sexually abuse underage girls, pleaded not guilty yesterday. The 58-year-old British socialite faces 4 counts of transporting minors for illegal sexual acts and 2 for perjury. Maxwell was denied a request for $5 million bond and electronic monitoring at a New York residence, with a judge agreeing with federal prosecutors that she represents a significant flight risk. Maxwell possesses French citizenship, and France is known to not extradite its citizens. The judge also concluded Maxwell failed to provide a full accounting of her assets, which precluded an accurate bail. She is expected to remain in prison until her trial, scheduled for July 2021. Well, possibly that might mean that her fate is sealed. Separately, a judge rejected a proposed $18.9 million class action settlement for women allegedly sexually assaulted by former film mogul Harvey Weinstein, calling the package inadequate. In the know. Sports, entertainment, and culture. Peacock, NBC's new streaming service, launches today. Here's everything you need to know. Telluride Film Festival in Colorado, originally scheduled for Labor Day weekend, is canceled due to the coronavirus. Shocking. Viacom CBS fires actor Nick Cannon over comments Cannon made on his podcast that were widely viewed as anti-Semitic. They were also super racist against white people, but I guess all we care about is the anti-Semitic part. Science and technology. First data on Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine show that it prompts an antibody response that neutralizes the virus, backing up an earlier press release. Neat. Let's get it in production so that everybody can say they've gotten vaccinated and we can all stop wearing these stupid fucking masks. A single gene can switch female mosquitoes to non-biting male mosquitoes. Male mosquitoes don't bite. Study finds providing a route to stop the spread of bloodborne pathogens like Zika and dengue fever. And also just make life better for, everybody. Wouldn't that be cool? Business and markets. U.S. stock markets up. S&P 500 up 1.3%. Dow up 2.1%. NASDAQ up 0.9% as investors look past increases in panic cases. Good. Keep it up, investors. Good job. Good for you. JP Morgan and Citi see reduced profits while Wells Fargo posts quarterly loss for first time in more than a decade. Banks hoarding cash for projected loan losses. Richard Branson's Virgin Atlantic raises $1.5 billion in private capital to weather economic crisis. The company originally explored government support. Virgin Atlantic. What is Virgin Atlantic? Politics and World Affairs. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, hospitalized with a potential infection. The 87-year-old justice is the Supreme Court's oldest member and has endured a series of recent health scares. Yeah. Not to be... Okay, I'm about to be extremely indelicate. Just... Yeah. Nobody watches this anyway, so nobody cares. When is she going to die already? I'm just saying. She's old. She's had a series of recent health scares. When is she gonna die? U.S. carries out first federal execution since 2003. Also, is it ever going to be decided that she's just unfit to be a justice anymore? Has she undergone any sort of mental testing? I mean, supposedly Joe Biden gets tested all the time. And he's like 10 years younger than her. U.S. carries out first federal execution since 2003. 2 other executions are scheduled this week, with one currently being challenged in court. White House rescinds immigration order that would have required those in the U.S. on foreign student visas to return to their home country if their classes were online only. Representative Steve Watkins charged with voter fraud. Oh, of course they're going to charge a Republican. Oh, but voter fraud never happens, say the Democrats. 1440 fines. Time's top 100 inventions of 2019 included a cereal company? It's time to see what all the fuss is about. Magic Spoon makes delicious breakfast cereals with more protein, fewer carbs, and 0 sugar. Try their variety pack today with timeless favorites like cocoa, fruity, frosted, and blueberry. Check out the future of cereal today. Magic Spoon makes it sound like they are making spoons that do something cool. But whatever. When second chances are hard to come by, Second Chance Studios aims to give formerly incarcerated New Yorkers a chance to grow and thrive in the burgeoning podcast industry. We love their mission and the podcast industry. Take a look at the Second Chance Studios Kickstarter page while it's still live. 1440 finds you. Our team is growing and we're looking for an incredible senior brand partnerships manager with experience selling advertising units for publishers. Know someone or think you'd be a strong fit? Here's the job posting. Sponsored content. Sponsored or not, all finds have been thoroughly vetted by our team. Etc. This map shows whether there is a hyper-partisan outlet masquerading as local news near you. Is it an objective map? That's pretty funny. The best bars in America for 2020. Yeah, but they're all closed. Airbnb bookings are back above 1 million per day. How do we stay ahead of trends with exploding topics? Their game-changing tool and newsletter help you discover rapidly growing topics before they've hit the mainstream. Subscribe to their newsletter for free today. This tiny dinosaur would fit in the palm of your hand. Aww. 30 famous movies explained in extremely boring terms. Okay. A 6-year-old boy saves little sister from a charging dog. Cool. Notre Dame Cathedral will rebuild its spire exactly as it was. Good. Colorado squirrel tests positive for the bubonic plague. Well, let's nip that in the bud. Clickbait. The next global threat? Bears with nunchucks. History book. Spanish explorer and conquistador Ponce de Leon dies. 1521. Rosetta Stone is found in Egypt. 1799. Happy birthday journalist and businesswoman Ariana Huffington. 1950. Fashion designer Gianni Versace is murdered, 1997. Twitter is launched, 2006. And the decline of Western civilization was born. I am not interested in the past, except as the road to the future. Gianni Versace. I am not interested in the past except as the road to the future. I mean, on the one hand, there is way too much focus on the past at the moment. But on the other hand, it is important to know your history. This is such a weird time. People are hyper focused on the past, but also, at the same time, trying to erase our history. Tearing down statues, changing facts, such as the 1619 Project. That's a weird paradox. Just leave the past alone. That's all. I'm not interested in the past except as the road to the future. Well, people these days are trying to mold the future by changing the past. So, in that context, no, that's not a good thing to do. But as Gianni Versace meant it, I'm sure it's a perfectly good quote. It just does not ring good today. But that's all. That's all for today. Thank you and goodbye.